Hey everybody, it's October of 2014, so this is going to be an October vinyl find. Before I get into that, just want to remind everybody, in case you don't know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so think pink. Ladies are well aware of this issue, but men really need to be too, because guys can get breast cancer too. Just ask Peter Criss of Kiss. He went through it and it almost killed him, and it's actually just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, in guys because, well, we just don't think about that stuff, and we're tough macho, and we don't, like going to doctors. I don't, even though I work in a hospital. But just be aware, okay? Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's all I'll say. Okay, bunch of vinyl. Some of this is actually, a lot of this didn't come in October because I'm not overly rich. This is kind of stuff that I've found around the house that has come in the last couple 3 months. Some of it I forgot in the show and stuff. It's actually a pretty healthy pile, though. Start off over here with something very cool. I took it out of the package already, out of the sleeve, just so I wouldn't waste my time or yours. Boston's first album. It's a picture disc. Very cool. These things do not play all that well. This one is in. This looks very good plus, but probably plays more like very good. But I didn't buy it really to play it. I bought it to look at it because it's so darn good. So cool. Okay, we'll blow through some of this stuff fairly quickly, guys. Big pile. Okay, some of these are, a lot of these are dollar records, but they're interesting. I have another copy of this, but this is an original first pressing of REO Speedwagon's Riding the Storm Out, and it's pretty much mint for $1. It was in really nice shape. And my pressing that I have now back there is a early 80s pressing. America's first album, an upgrade, even though it's got a sticker, kind of, but the vinyl's in pretty good shape. Not a bad album. A Live America album in excellent shape that I did not have for $1. Jackson Browne's second album, For Every Man. This is in mint shape. This is a definite upgrade. This has got one of these die-cut covers. I'll show this to you really quick. See how that kind of comes out? And the cover is kind of, the way that it's designed, you always seem to find it with a little bit of ripping down here on the edges. This was just in absolute dead mint shape. And it was a first pressing, and I thought, yeah, I'm going for it. It was incredibly cheap. Deep Purple's Perfect Stranger album. This is in pretty good shape. I mean, it's not mint, but it's VG+. And I didn't have it. Something from high school days. Okay. This is going to be all over the place musically. And this is one of those, I had it when I was a kid. And I found it for $1, and it's mint, The Village People. Cruisin', 1979. This is the album with YMCA on it, in case you really care. But, this was a great find for $1, and it's in great shape, too. Rufus. A great album from Rufus, 1974. Chaka Khan and Rufus for $1, in great shape. This is an original first pressing of Leonard Skinner's live album, first live album. This has got something really interesting in it too. I want to show you guys. Let's see if I can find which one that's in here. It has this, which I don't remember this, but it's kind of like a little thank you. Kind of. I don't remember that being in there initially, but then again, it was so long ago. This album came out, 1975, so that there. Peter Gabriel Soul, in great shape. Great album from Peter Gabriel. Sticking with the Peter Gabriel to a certain extent. Some very early Genesis. This is a mid-70s pressing, an American pressing. I believe it's on ABC or Dunhill. And the vinyl, everything about it is in really, really nice shape. I rarely see early Genesis like this out at my record store. It's always the Phil Collins stuff usually, you know. So I grabbed it. A Best of Poco double album. I really like Poco. Always have. Always will. I think they're very underrated. One of the last Joe Jackson albums that I was looking for. It's got some sticker stuff going on, but I'm the man. Some early Joe Jackson. What, 79-ish, I believe. Some live Sammy Hagar. Didn't have this. In okay shape. I mean, when I say okay, I mean it's in good shape. You know, for what it is. For what? A quote from Sammy Hagar, and by the way, there's quite a bit of vulgarity from my memory on this album. Right? He kind of got a potty mouth. Going from that to some religious stuff. Barry Maguire, who did that, had a huge hit in 65 with Eve of Destruction in the late 60s, went religious and put out some fantastic albums actually in the early 70s, mid 70s. This is one with a group called Second Chapter of Acts. They're both, you know, religious Christian music. It's a live album. It's a very good live album though. And a guy named Paul Clark. This is early 70s as well, in okay shape. I particularly don't mind this stuff. I can't stand contemporary Christian music of today. I just can't stand it. But I like listening to older. It's folkier. Most of it's kind of a folky rock kind of based, and I enjoy it actually. Okay, switching musical styles again. What is this? Quincy Jones, the dude. This is actually in shrink. It's mint, completely dead mint. Didn't even look like it had ever been played for a buck. Good album. A couple of Stephen Stills. There's one Stephen Stills for you. And the best of Stephen Stills. Both of these were in really nice shape for a buck. Again, not all these were got. I didn't get all these this month. I mean, I'm just not rolling in cash. But an ELO album that I didn't have. The only one I'm missing now from the US stuff, original like LPs, not best ofs or whatever, is the album. I think it's called Power. So when I dropped the needle on this, I'll be honest with you, I had never heard this album before. And when I dropped the needle on it, my first thought was, oh my God, this is Miami Vice gone to hell. Because it had this really generic early 80s synth sound, which initially I was like, oh, but I'll tell you, this album rocks. This is a killer Jeff Beck album. It sounds great as well. I mean, audio-wise, it's just a fantastic album from Jeff Beck. Speaking of Jeff Beck, some more Jeff Beck. Only missing like one or two early Jeff Beck now albums. We're still rolling here. I bought this thinking it was something else. I was thinking it had a song that I really wanted on it, and it didn't. But that's okay. The band 707. They had a couple of hits. The biggest one was a song called Megaforce, from an album called Megaforce. I'd love to find that. And their first album, I'd like to get that. But this actually isn't bad. Once I listened to it, I'm like, okay, for a buck, it's not bad. You know. This is another one that the guy, Bob, who owns the Record Connection's like, you like this band? Here you go. And he just threw it in my pile. That's the way Bob works. The funny thing, though, is as I'm still trying to find, there's one album I'm still trying to find by this band. The band's Lighthouse. This is a promotional pressing of an early album from them on Polydor. But their album One Fine Morning, I've got like 4 or 5 of their other albums. It's like, but I never see that album. It's the one that I really want, you know, out of all of them. But anyway, okay. This is an odd album. The Simon Sisters, Carly and her sister, and I'm trying to think who her sister is, Lucy, Lucy Simon, put out three albums in the 60s. This is a repress of the one they put out in 1969. This one came out in 73. It's some kind of kids music. It's folky. It's interesting, you know. It's early Carly Simon, so if you dig that, if you like Carly Simon, you'll dig it. This one was a real surprise, and I was very happy that I got this, actually. Alex Taylor, the older brother of James and Livingston and Kathy Taylor. I have Livingston Taylor albums. I've got all the James Taylor albums. I've even got Katie Taylor. Katie? Her first album. I think it's the only album she ever put out. But I saw this and I was like, oh, okay, what's this going to be like? He doesn't play guitar. He sounds a lot like the other Taylor brothers. This was really actually a good album. Really, really good on Capricorn Records. I'll show you the label. It's really wasting time. But it's really, for a buck, it was really a good album. He's got a couple other albums. I've never seen them out in the wild, but I may take a chance on Discog for like a buck or two someday and get them, especially his second album. Okay, another one that I got that was like, well, and I got it. I thought it was like a best of. I got it home and I was disappointed at first until I listened to it. Dionne Warwick. And I thought this was a great double best of. It's a live album, what it is. But it's a great live album. She was really fantastic live. This is really from Dionne Warwick to Hank Williams. This is a great album as well. Greatest hits on MGM. Moving quickly here. Crosby, Stills, Nash. I think this is an upgrade to the one that I have. I have to listen to it. The cover is definitely an upgrade. But moving on here. Frank. What do I need to say about Frank? Every time I see a Frank album, I pick it up. Enough said. I like this next lady. I take heat for this. I don't care. It's Barbara Streisand live from 1980. The show was 86. She recorded, and the album I think came out in 87. And a live album, her first live album, happening in Central Park, which was 1968. How young she looks on that. Another good album. One more, Stony End, which in 1971 they tried to turn her into a pop star, and it actually kind of worked, you know, because prior to this, all of her stuff was just like show tunesy kind of, you know, stuff like that. A couple more. Great Chuck Mangione album live, 1970. It's a great double album from Chuck Mangione. Finally picked this up on vinyl. It was cheap. What can I say? Paul McCartney, Press to Play. It's a horrible album. For the most part. It has its moments where it's good. A few. But it had to be cheap and it had to be in decent shape. It's got a little bit of an issue on the cover right there. I don't know if you can see it, but I don't care. You know. One more. And I'll let you guys go. Okay? Another one from my high school days. Slade. This is the most popular they got here in America. What a cool group that was. Okay, enough of that. Alrighty, guys. So that does it. Again, thank you for subscribing. I think I'm right around 500. Really close to it. So tell your friends, tell your enemies about Scotty's Record Shop. And please subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching. And like I always say, till next time, peace and love.